Hi everyone, how you all doing? Now I'm going to present a vinyl finds of all kinds, and the first item that I'm going to show here is something I'm sure I probably showed on one of the other videos in the series, but I just happened to find this laying around when I was preparing, and since I don't have that many records to begin with here to show, I figured I'm trying to pad it out a little bit, so I'll show it again. It's a picture sleeve of Elton John and Kiki Dee. Their big song, Don't Go Breaking My Heart. When I think of the summer of '76, I think it is, I'll never forget hearing this at the beach on every AM transistor radio that was on the sand. Okay, I have a record here that at first may look common, very common. The Monkees debut album. But I've been waiting for this version to pop up. And I got this for free, this record, because the record itself is kind of messed up. The record isn't in great shape, so it was going to be thrown out at the record store, and I asked if I could have it. And the reason that I wanted it was because it's the rare version where you see the misspelling of Papa Jean's Blues, and it's going to be hard to show you because of the lamp I have here, but Papa Jean with a J. It's supposed to be G, G-E-N-E, as in the male spelling. So, there you have it. Something I've been looking for a while. Every time I look at a copy, it's the proper spelling with the G. I've never come across the J. Okay, now I added to my Johnny Cash collection. And this first album I'm going to show, I wasn't positive if I wanted it or not when I saw it at my record store. Johnny Cash, Bitter Tears. Ballads of the American Indian. Now I know that Johnny Cash does a lot of records where he kind of does a lot of narration. He kind of tells stories and things like that. And I'm not really too enamored with those kind of records where he just does a lot of talking and narrating and telling stories. But a lot of this record is that, because when I got it at the record store, I would put on the headphones and on a spare record player they have there just to see what it was. And it turns out that some of it was singing that I liked. There's a song on here called Custer, and I like Custer very much. So based on that alone, I bought the record. There's a Columbia in a sleeve. And this record is on 2-wide Columbia label, original. In nice shape, I might add. So, I was happy to add this to my Johnny Cash record collection. Another Johnny Cash album, a lot more common. This is an upgrade. I think I have this already. I'm not sure. Johnny Cash at San Quentin. I might even, as a matter of fact, now that I'm thinking of it, I think I really do have this already with the shrink wrap too. That's the thing, got to keep tabs of our records, but this is in really nice shape for a good price. I have to double check. I might have this already, but that's what happens. And it is also sporting a nice Columbia inner sleeve, and also featured on original Columbia 2-wide red label. Okay, now we're going to go ahead now to the 1980s. And this is a kind of different type of record for me that I found here. I might have shown this too in a past video. I don't remember. This is also a promotion, loan for promotion, gold stamp. It's a group called The Call, and they have an album here, Modern Romans. This particular album's from 1983. I remember. I was in the clubs. It might have come out in '82. I'm not sure, but. 83, it says 83, and I bought the 45 of a song called The Walls Came Down, which was the big single then, and I love that song, The Walls Came Down, and based on that I went ahead and said, what the hell, this thing was dirt cheap. I figured for dirt cheap I'll get this and maybe play the entire album, see if I like anything different for whenever I finally get around to doing my first time spins videos again. Next up is a really good find, I think. The Byrds Greatest Hits, original, in really, really minty kind of shape. or near mint, we'll say. Now, the day that this album was at my record store, there was a stereo copy and a mono copy. This is the mono copy. I decided to go for the mono one. The stereo was in shrink wrap. This is not. So do I take a stereo in the original shrink, which is nice, or do I go for the mono? Well, I thought the mono was good for this record. And I'm going to show you, once again, we have an original red 2i label. It's amazing. This video is like the revenge of the mono Columbia 2i labels, or at least the Columbia labels, mono and stereo. You make mistakes that you want to edit out. I'm not editing it. The revenge of the red Columbia 2i labels. Okay, next up, one of my favorite songs of all time. Sometimes I even, cutely call this my very favorite song of all time, Judy in Disguise, With Glasses, by John Fred and his Playboy Band. Now, the thing is, there was an album that first came out with this hit on it by them called Agnes English, and it had a different cover. And the back cover, you can see the ring wear on here. This is not my kind of quality. I don't like buying records like this, but this is apparently kind of rare. Agnes English was the title of the original record. It had a different cover, as I say. And I bought this because it was a nice, just a variation on the cover. It's on Paula Records. There's the label there. And as I say, this condition is much below par for me with the ring wear on it. If I ever find it in better condition, I will upgrade. But I mean, this particular record costs $15 in this condition anyway, so it must be kind of unusual to find. I think this is the second pressing because the song was a hit. So sometimes when you have a hit song, they title the reissue album by the name of the hit song. Okay, last up is Worth It for the cover alone. This was 99 cents, $1. It's Bobbie Gentry. I made a video about her great classic song that I love, Ode to Billy Joe. You can check out that video a few videos back from here. I know that song, Fancy, over there. I bought it basically for that, but also because it was $1. For $1, why not? And the cover, it's worth it just for the cover. Look at it. I gotta say, folks, look at the figure on that woman, huh? Anyway, but that's it. And the label, for those who want to see it, it's the capital lime green with the target on it. All right? So that's it for the vinyl finds of all kinds. Thanks a lot for watching, and hopefully it won't be too long before I get enough miscellaneous finds to make another one of these. Thanks, everybody.